Hey, welcome. My name is Will Jang, and I used to be the chief librarian at New York State Psychiatric Institution and Columbia Psychiatry. I presented my book, A Schizophrenic Will, A Story of Madness, A Story of Hope, in 2014 to the group Mood Disorder Support Group of New York, or MDSG. This is that presentation. I'll be doing an abbreviated version here. So my book, A Schizophrenic Will, A Story of Madness, A Story of Hope, is an inspirational autobiography, which has gone to like basically beating a beautiful mind one time without any kind of marketing. And it's even gone to #1 since. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited my story is getting out. So I started my journey in the mental health field as an advocate with City Voices. New York City Voices was founded in 1995 by mental health advocate Ken Steele, and he also started the mental health voter empowerment project, and penned the book "The Day the Voices Stopped." So this was his book, "The Day the Voices Stopped." It's quite an inspirational tale. I encourage you to check it out on Amazon, or maybe at your local bookstore or library. So after I worked at City Voices for about 2 years as a writer, as a webmaster, and other hats, I worked as an adjunct lecturer at Kingsborough Community College. So I worked for about a year over at Kingsborough until it was time to move on, and I became the chief librarian at New York State Psychiatric Institute at their Patient and Family Library and Learning Center for 7 years. And it was one of the best jobs I've had in my life. I still consider the people at New York State Psychiatric, Columbia Psychiatry, pretty much like family, like a second family. They're great people, and they're very dedicated to the health and well-being of the people they take care of. Top notch. So my book again. And so let's look at the economics about the state of mental health. So in terms of the National Institute of Health, for the entire budget for 2012, you see 1,517,006. The thing is, that's in thousands of dollars. So the entire budget of the NIH was 1.5 billion. Sounds like a lot, right? So for schizophrenia, for research and development, at about the same time period, we had about $277 million for research and development of treatments for schizophrenia and basic research. Wow, 277 million. That sounds like a lot, right? No, not really. When you look at the overall cost of schizophrenia, it's about 62 billion per year. And so, a few million there, it's not really helping too much. It costs about $5 billion in drugs, 2.8 billion for inpatient, 8 billion for long-term care, and more. So compare the cost of schizophrenia versus the amount spent on basic research. So the cost of schizophrenia, once we said already, was 63 billion versus 120 million in terms of research to actually cure the disease. So that means that more than 62 billion is just, for the status quo. Less than 0.2% of the cost is spent on research. The perspective, whoops, let's go back. In perspective, New York Presbyterian White Plains brings in 190 million per year. One hospital, and that's more than the entire budget of the National Institute of Mental Health. Why do I keep going back? So I know that Presbyterian White Plains is one of the best hospitals in the world and everything, but really, can't we spend more on basic research to actually cure the problem rather than just put band-aids on it? That's my thing. And then there was a new treatment for depression that was coming out about 2 years ago. It just started to be treated with, I mean, you can pay for TMS now with Medicare, so that's pretty awesome. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's a new modality for the treatment of depression. It's a brain stimulation technique, much like ECT, but without the deleterious side effects. And so, one last thing I was talking about in my presentation was the DARP32 molecule, or the master molecule, elucidated by Paul Greengard, the Nobel Prize winner, in his research about the neuregulins. So basically, in the past, many people have heard of the dopamine hypothesis of schizophrenia. Well, it turns out that psychosis is due to dopamine, serotonin, and glutamate. So, and they all converge to the DARP32 molecule. So they all are implicated in the implicated in schizophrenia and the psychoses. And I'm very excited to say that there's a drug that will be coming out in 2016, about mid 2016, right now, called ITI-007. And it is the first of the third generation antipsychotic, which targets dopamine, serotonin, and glutamate. So it's going to be a new way of treating schizophrenia, and it's a very, very exciting world we live in that hopefully this will be a brand new and very effective treatment with fewer side effects. Thank you for your attention. Check out the blog below if you want to check out one of my 20 books, such as A Schizophrenic Will, A Story of Madness, A Story of Hope, or Guide to Natural Mental Health, where I share what I know about natural health and healing of the mind. Thank you.